Hello and welcome back to Max Travels. It's been a long time since I've done a video, about a year and a half, so I might be a little rusty, but I've got a lot to fill you in on. First of all, this might look like a nursery to you, and that's because it is. My wife is 39 weeks and 1 day pregnant today, and literally any moment, any hour, any day, we could be inviting our first baby girl into this world, and I'm beyond excited, beyond thrilled. There's never been anything I've ever wanted more in my entire life, and that's the first thing I wanted to talk about to fill in this break of a year and a half since last time I've said anything. Is one, I think I'm going to be changing the general direction of this page, and that's maybe something you can help me out with. What's a good new name for my channel? Because I'm going to incorporate my family a little more, maybe more the perspective and aspect of being a new dad, a new parent. Maybe other people can walk along this journey with me and either provide wisdom or gain wisdom from what I've learned. We can all just help each other out, but it could be Max Family Travels or Daddy Max Travels, or maybe something completely different. But it's a new journey with my new family, and that's going to be the focus and direction I'm going. It's still going to be motivational, successful living at heart, just maybe geared to slightly different audience or a group of people, but I hope everyone can still gain from it. But there's everything in the world out there for women and moms and things of that nature. There's really not a whole lot for dads, and there's probably only really little advice that I can actually give to a lot of you guys. We've had a fairly easy pregnancy, no major setbacks or bad things that have happened that have caused issues. Everything's been really healthy. The first 3 months there was a lot of morning sickness, which made things difficult to some degree, but everything since has been a pretty easy journey to be able to take. I would say the biggest thing for me is that I chose this path of being a father. It wasn't an accident for me or something I wasn't expecting. We waited for a while. My wife's a few years younger than me. I'm 36 as I do this video, so I'm maybe an older than average parent. So I've gotten a lot of my wild times away, out of the way. Financially, we're better than we've probably ever been, even in the midst of all this COVID craziness. So if you're a younger person watching this as a new dad or a soon-to-be dad, there's probably some things that maybe you can't relate to, and some of the advice I have isn't fully relevant to you, because maybe this is a surprise for you. It wasn't something you're expecting, and it is a big interference in your life. But I would say that you have the choice to choose what kind of man you want to be and what kind of father you want to be. And every day, just remember those choices, and I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be good. Again, I wanted this, and we waited purposefully for a while till we were both ready. Not just me. I wanted her to be equally as ready, and with her being younger, I wanted to give her whatever time she needed till she felt like she was ready. And so we're both doing this together, and I'm super excited. It's going to be amazing. And if there's any great advice you parents have out there for me, I'm all ears. And I want to continue for this to be an open video series that I do, that it's not just me doing this fake life of everything's perfect. I want to talk about where I failed, where things screwed up at, the funny stories, the embarrassing stories, so that people can learn and laugh and we can all grow together. It is my goal. So enough about that parenting side of things. Other important news, I've got a job that's just knocking my socks off right now. It's kind of a cool story for any of you that don't know me, talk to me on a regular basis if you don't know it, but I finally realized what I really want to do as far as my 40-hour-a-week job is, after a lot of just thinking about what I liked about previous jobs, what I didn't like, and it took a few months really of just really introspective thinking. And I suggest all of you do that to yourself if you're not happy with what you're doing. But I realized I loved working with my hands. Time goes by fast when I do. I don't like working with people. I hate sales. I kind of just really don't like working with human beings on a personal transactional level. So customer service, didn't want to do that ever again. And so I was like, okay, well, I like driving to the same place every day, but I don't like seeing the same thing every day. But I like working with my hands, but I don't like interacting with people when it comes to any sales transactions or whatever. And I finally realized, like, oh, a factory, maybe I could do it. And then one of my brothers suggested, hey, I worked for this factory, and I was on their maintenance team. You may be able to get on as an apprentice. They had a position on their maintenance team open. I applied and never got a call at all. And I kept calling back. Finally, after like the 7th call, finally got a hold of someone, left a message every time. I was like, hey. And they're like, oh, we've already considered everyone that we want for the position. And so I was like, oh, so that means you're not considering me then, right? And I had about an hour or two of a real big pity party of just like, wow, I really thought this was going to be it. And then I snapped out of it. And I walked into that factory the next day and I said, give me a job anywhere on the floor. And I started the next week, and it was maybe in a slightly higher position or more difficult position than what other people do out the gate, perhaps. But I just want to get my foot in the door. And I told my main supervisor day one, this is where I'm headed. This is where I'm going. You help me make all the decisions I need to make to get me on the maintenance team, because that's where I want to be. And 2.5 months later, through a really crazy series of events, and through being the squeaky wheel and constantly telling people that's where I want to be, putting the bug in everyone's ear, the company got bought out. They were cutting hours during this transition and sending people over to our other factory, and they didn't know what to do with me. And I spoke up and I said, hey, you could just put me on the maintenance team. And it was kind of a joke. And little did I know that morning they had just fired their current apprentice, and I started with them the next week. I was expecting this to be a 1-2 year long journey, but because I had a singular focus combined with an opportunity came up that wasn't expected, I ended up with what so far has been the best job I've ever had in my life. They've taught me how to weld. They've taught me about all kinds of parts, tools, processes, things I've never even seen or done in my life. And I enjoy what I do now, and they're paying for school. And I'm saying all of this not to brag at all, but for the last 3 or 4 years, I've decided to take my life into my own hands, to think positively, to push for something, and to make my own life happen, not wait for someone else to give it to me. And that's exactly what I've done here. And I encourage you to do the same. Right at that same time is when we found out we were pregnant with a girl, or with a baby. Found out later it was a girl. And then they reevaluated what our maintenance team got paid. And I am getting paid almost 50% more than when I started with that company on day one. And it's been absolutely amazing. So there's that. I pushed, I made my dreams happen. Singular focus, determination, and hard work got me where I was. That's it. Soon to be dead, going to make a lot of mistakes, but I'm excited to be here. And I want you to journey with me. Some of you have so much experience. I could really use your help. My wife could really use your help. But I hope I can help you too if you follow along. Maybe see some things that I screw up on and give you a little heads up for yourself in the future. And then lastly, this whole COVID thing. I could not have possibly foreseen getting with my company that we were going to be deemed essential, that my wife's, where she works, would be deemed essential. She can work from home, being a marketing coordinator with her company. And so both of us have been completely unaffected financially, and I know a lot of you have. I would encourage you to, if this has been a really hard financial blow, maybe reevaluate what you've been doing financially for a while. Are you living paycheck to paycheck because you live in maybe a nicer house than you should for what you make? Could you be working a second job and saving up more money to have set aside? I hope this is a big wake-up call for everyone, if this has been a big struggle. And I hope it's been a growing experience, that, oh, well, John, you haven't been financially affected, so you don't know. Screw that. Stop. I've been without work for more than 2 months before, completely unable to work, and I've had to sell a car and take public transportation just so I could get caught up on my rent. Been there, done it, and that wasn't because of anything going on in today, and the government didn't give me a check to help me out with it. So I know what it's like to struggle through it. So just take the opportunity to step back, reevaluate what's important to you, what makes you the happiest, and go get it. Do more. Work harder. Or maybe happiness is working less, and maybe readjusting your living situation, or the need to have the nicest, newest car. Success is going to look different to everyone. It's up to you to figure out what success looks like to you, and it's up to you and you alone to make that success happen. But I know you can. And I'm here to root you on and to help you with it. You may be weak in some area that I'm really great at, and vice versa. We need each other. And if this COVID thing hasn't taught us all at least that, I don't know what else it has taught us. We need each other, and together, not just this time, but for our entire life, every day, week, month, year, we can help each other live our fullest lives with the greatest level of success, pass that on to our children, and see real change in the world and in our futures in our lifetime. Thank you so much. I'm sorry it's been such a long time since I last posted a video. We're going to have our baby any day. I expect I'll do a video shortly after. I'll have a couple weeks off. And I want to pick this back up and, through your help, just start encouraging you, encouraging my family, myself, remembering what life is really all about. Thank you so much for your time, and have a good one.